Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to one of my favourite guests, one of the most successful men in show business ever, Ken Dodd. Good evening, how are you?
By Jove, young Alex, how am I going to follow that?
Well, I don't know really. 20 years ago we sat here and did the first one of these interviews, and here we are 20 years later celebrating your 60th anniversary in show business. You've just packed out the Leeds Grand Theatre. What an amazing life, what an amazing career.
20 years ago, is that when, and I still haven't had the postal order yet, you know. Yeah, well, I come to Leeds I did my first television show here, March the 11th, 1955. March 11th, 1955, I did the good old days from the City of Varieties. And a Yorkshire audience is it's a big county, mind you. It's the biggest county in Britain. And it's an ever-changing county. I mean, the people in North Yorkshire, sort of Leeds and Leeds, Bradford and Scarborough, up here, they're different than, say, down in Barnsley and down there, you know. But they're still wonderful. Yorkshire people have a great, wonderful sense of humour.
You truly are a gazetteer, aren't you? You know this country probably better than anyone else. There's nowhere you haven't been.
That's probably it. One of the greatest things about doing one-nighters, years ago, when I first started, I used to do a week at a time or 3 weeks at a time, or a summer season that lasts, say, when I did the Palladium, it was 42 and a half weeks. 42 and a half weeks, twice nightly, 3 times on a Saturday. When I did Blackpool, it was even longer. You'd start at Whit and you'd finish in the middle of November. So they were long seasons, but now that all that's finished, no more big long season now. It's all one-nighters, one-night stands. One night's all they can stand. And so travelling up and down, travelling is it's not the greatest of, particularly if you come into motorway gridlocks. But even so, you see Great Britain. You see a wonderful country as you travel north to Cumbria, right up to Scotland, round Glasgow, up to Inverness, down to Bridlington, down to Skegness. Oh, all over Britain. Britain is such a wonderful country. Down to the posh part, Bournemouth and Worthing. And then the Devon, in Devon, all the men say, "Who are my dear, oh my lovely, oh my handsome," and that's to each other. So it's a wonderful experience travelling all over Britain and seeing all these and meeting all kinds of different people, because every place in Britain, every inhabitant has they all have their own customs, their own dialects, their own way of speaking, and really, yeah, it's wonderful. It's like reading a wonderful, marvellous book that never seems to grow old.
I always feel I'm incredibly privileged that I get to sit with you backstage here in your dressing room and then watch you perform. And what's amazing, it's no secret you're an octogenarian, but you become about 23 when you're on that stage. Does it feel like that you sort of lose 50 years?
So many two people have said that. They said, as soon as you walk on that stage, all of a sudden you turn into a 35-year-old man. I guess it's because it's the adrenaline, and I think that's what makes you a performer, getting on there, and it's a magic time. It's a wonderful magical experience, sort of haranguing a live audience, but slaving over a hot audience is the most wonderful experience you can possibly have.
And I don't think I've ever seen another performer with more ease than you have. I mean, nothing can floor you at this point, can it? And you know what's coming next, even if you don't know what's coming next.
Oh, it can, though. Yes, you'd be surprised, Alec. You might think it's the same old route, which isn't. No, every audience is different. You know that, don't you? In 60 years. It doesn't seem like 60 years. Are you sure it is?
Well, that's what 1954, they say, was your first show at the Nottingham Empire. Is that true?
I must get a calculator. in 60s, I've never done the same show twice. It's impossible. You can't do the same. It's impossible to do the same show twice, because every audience is a permutation of different people, all different personalities, all different characters, and they all have a different reaction to various things you say and do. So in 60s, I've never done the same show twice. Yeah, and I think that's what makes it interesting and fascinating. I don't know how these actors do it. How they go in, say, a musical or a play, and they'll run for, say, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. doing the same thing night after. I couldn't do that. No. Every show, I look forward to every show. I try different gags out. I try about half a dozen gags out every night, and every show is different. And I've been doing different shows now for 60 years, and please God, I'll do it for another 60 years.
And you're brave as well. What amazes me, you could sit back and just do the same old act if you wanted. But I mean, I even notice as we sit here on your hand on notes, that's reminding you of things that you've put in brand new tonight, is it?
Did I do that tonight? I don't know whether I did. I was going to tell them I'm not here. I'm really a hologram. I just enjoy being a performer. And variety, don't forget variety. The word, a lot of people think it's old-fashioned. Variety means a variety of skills. And when you're on the bill with all wonderful people like on the show tonight, you mix with people who have developed an act with polished and burnished and polished and cut and made it better and put little new bits in and taking all bits out. You really know that you're working with some very, very clever people. So, and tonight I work with a wonderful act called Amethyst, who are magicians, and they once again, that's a highly skilled act. Well, they're not just magicians; they're illusionists. And then Andy Eastwood, who is a cousin of Clint's. He was in the film with Clint, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. And when you see him on stage, you know which part he played. But no, Andy is a superb musician, and it's like a firework display going off. He's the cornflake kid. Now, when you work with people like the musicians we have, they're all wonderful people, yeah.
I wonder what it's like being you. There you were, back selling out the Palladium for 40-odd weeks, 2 shows a day, 3 on a Saturday. Then I look at Tears, which sold more copies than Imagined by John Lennon. You're on the front of every theatre up and down the country, wherever you want to be. Are you living the dream? I mean, did you ever think it could be this magnificent?
No, I never. And I didn't think I would hit the heights that I've been blessed to be able to do. But yeah, it's been wonderful so far. But I'm still learning. I worked with some wonderful artists. I worked with Arthur Askew, Ted Ray, Rob Wilton, Les Dawson, Bob Monkhouse, Tommy Cooper, Sandy Powell. All sorts of wonderful people I work with, and hopefully I've learned a little bit from all of them.
Who was the favourite person you ever worked with?
There isn't a favourite. They're all wonderful people. I stand amazed and surprised at all these wonderful. They're like like the gods of old. They are so superb people. They're totally different than ordinary human beings. They're so gifted. And I feel myself so lucky, so blessed that I was able to work with these people, and I knew these people and spoke to them and talked to them and laughed at them. Yeah, they're all, I couldn't tell you, they're all wonderful people. I've worked with some very, very intellectual, gifted people like Victor Borg, some very, very funny people like Frank Randall and Les Dawson. And Arthur Askew was probably the best offstage storyteller I've ever heard. Yeah, they're all gifted in different ways, but it's all magic. They're all magical people. Magic.
Are you aware that you're up there with them?
I'm tagging along with them. I think they still speak to me. Oh yeah, it's very nice.
Is it great at this point to have had probably the best years of show business? I mean, if I look at who's around today, who we admire, the Katie Prices of the world, it seems like you had the legends and you had the people who really were worth learning from. It's been an amazing life, hasn't it, so far?
Well, I do say I'm very proud and very thankful and very appreciative of the fact that I have worked with some wonderful stars, some magic people, from the big ones, I've stood on the Palladium stage, I've sung to Bing Crosby, who was sitting in the audience, I've told gags to Bob Hope, who was sitting in the audience, and I really have met some wonderful, magical people. But don't say that today's artists, today's performers aren't just as magical. They are, really. We've still got some wonderful entertainers still performing. Maybe we had a better grounding because we had all these lovely theatres to try out and to polish and they're thrust onto the television right away. No, they don't have time to. I think it was George Burns or something. I think said today there aren't enough theatres to be bad in. It's a good quote, because you can learn by your mistakes. But yes, we've got some wonderful performers. There's still some great artists who have wonderful charisma and magic today, and they will be remembered alongside all the greats. Yes.
When I watch you sound check, wherever we are, whether in this beautiful Leeds Grand Theatre or anywhere in the country, you're still in awe of the stage, aren't you? Is that the reason for your longevity, that you still respect it and you love being there?
Well, it is a magical place. And when you play a theatre like this is the Grand Theatre in Leeds, and theatres. There's no such place as a bad theatre; they're all wonderful. But when you stand on any stage, you are aware of the fact of the. I don't know. Maybe there are ghosts around you. Maybe there are people who are very, very special magic people, actors and actresses, singers and comedians, and they're all the rest of them. Maybe they are there in spirit, but there's no two ways. A theatre stage, is a very, very, very inspiring place, a very magical place, a very blessed place to be. And where anybody who stands on a stage and entertains an audience is a very, very, a very special person, and has been given some very, very special gifts to do it.
I think you're going to be best known for Happiness, because you've given happiness and you sing it so beautifully. But for me, Love Is Like a Violin is such a tremendous song. What's the song you look forward to singing on stage?
I think I do like Happiness, I must admit. Yeah, Happiness is a great song. It's a great song because it's got a great message, and you can rev up a bit at the end, and you can work up a bit of a storm at the end. Yeah, Happiness is a great song. But I was very fortunate. I was able to choose the songs I recorded. Not all artists had that blessing. Some are told by the manager or whoever the record company, you will sing this song, and that's it. But I was given the choice of lots and lots of songs. I chose some good ones, and I turned some very good ones, which I regret. I turned some good ones down. I wasn't all that clever. Yeah, I'm very fortunate.
What a life and what a career. We're looking forward to your 70th anniversary, when I'm sure we'll talk again. For you, though, I mean, night after night after night, you're booked through Christmas, you're coming to Birmingham, you're doing the run in Blackpool. That means a lot to you, doesn't it? That you're still selling out these big theatres in these holiday seaside towns, which, of course, was the backbone of your business through the summer.
Well, the seaside towns are, unfortunately, they're not as the long seasons on here, but they're still Blackpool is still the greatest show town in the world, yeah, I hope so. As somebody once said to George Burns, I hope to be here on your 100th birthday, and he said, well, you look healthy enough, you probably will be.
You're an inspiration, you're a genius, but most of all, you're loved. Seeing the audience's reaction at the end of the show, could you sum that up, what that feels like when you're taking your third curtain call? Oh,
it's a very, very wonderful feeling. You have a wonderful feeling because you're tuned into all those minds, hundreds and hundreds of minds in front of you, and you're all thinking about each other, and you're in each other's heads. Yeah, the affection of an audience is a wonderful feeling. Yeah, really great. I'm very grateful. Amen.
Thank you for talking to me, and good luck for the next, 10, 20, 30 maybe?
Well, every good story starts off with once upon a time, but with me it'll be twice upon a time. I always did overdo it,
Ken Dodd, I love you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.